WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. At this hour, Columbus leaders are talking about policing. A virtual town hall is taking place at the municipal complex. This comes in light of a decision to dismiss a manslaughter charge against a former Columbus police officer, as well as the events in Minnesota. Now, it got underway about 30 minutes ago, and this group is discussing key issues such as the police department's use of force policy, as well as strengthening community relations. Police Chief Fred Shelton says he has plans to implement a new policy called Deputy Intervene. Now, and what that means is if an officer sees another officer using excessive force or doing something out of line, regardless of rank, the officer must step up and break up the situation. Since the officer involved shooting nearly 5 years ago, city leaders and police have worked hard to restore trust within the community. And tonight, they're looking to continue to build on that trust by having honest conversations and working to resolve these key issues.
If everything is done through transparency and everything's put on the table, I believe most people are reasonable, and they feel like if all the evidence is put out there and everybody knows what's going on, I really don't think you'll have a problem with most people. But it's only when it seems like there's a cover-up that people get up in arms about things.
I see this as a golden opportunity to make since we have the momentum, people are asking for change. And now this gives me opportunity to make real change while it's still on the table, while it's still hot, while everybody's pressing, and at the end state to make the department more effective, efficient, and proactive.
The mayor, police chief, district attorney, and representatives with the Justice for Ricky Ball organization are a few who are speaking tonight. Due to the coronavirus, the public is not allowed to attend the event. Instead, you can stream it online by going to the mayor's Facebook page. There could be a move in the state legislature to change Mississippi's flag. Mississippi Today is reporting that a group of bipartisan House lawmakers is drafting a resolution to change the state flag. Suspending the rules to consider the change would require 2/3 of the House to move forward. If approved, the legislation would move on to the state Senate, where it faces an unknown fate. The online news publication says this resolution would replace the current state flag with what is known as the Stennis flag. House Speaker Philip Gunn and Lieutenant Governor Delbert Hosemann have both expressed support for changing the state flag. Governor Tate Reeves believes Mississippi voters should have their say on the flag at the ballot box. This past weekend, demonstrators in Columbus marched from the police department to the Lowndes County Courthouse. The rally focused on things like racism and equality, but some spectators couldn't help but notice the Confederate statue on the courthouse lawn. Some call it an ominous looming figure. Our Cash Matlock has more on the growing call to have the statue removed. He joins us now live from the courthouse.
Joey, this historic marker is actually the topic of many online conversations, and over the years it's even been brought up in a few board meetings among county supervisors. Now, some say that the statue needs to be removed, others say it's a piece of history that needs to be preserved, and some say that if you look at the statue just right at a certain angle, it actually looks like a hooded figure.
If you look at this monument at a certain angle, it looks like a figurehead of a Ku Klux Klan.
District 5 Supervisor LEROY Brooks says he's been bringing up the issue with the Confederate monument outside of the Lowndes County Courthouse for years now.
I've brought it at different junctures to the Board of Supervisors, and it kind of fell on deaf ear. And, you know, I don't really know what historical value it serves.
But Brooks isn't the only one upset about the statue. Recently, several conversations have cropped up online, some advocating for the removal of the monument, others wishing to preserve it. Brooks says talking about the issue online isn't enough.
If you're really that strong about it, come to the board. You know, and I don't know whether the board has the sole authority to move it or not, but at least there needs to be some discussion and debate about the validity of maintaining this statue.
Brooks says many in the African American community do not look back on the Confederacy fondly.
It's not something we cherish. You know, it's for many African Americans, we did not see the Civil War as we've read it and stated about it, that was something It was the whole issue of maintaining slavery. And so it's not something that we'll go around and pound our chest about.
He says before the statue can be removed, there has to be a conversation.
Let's find out who has the authority to move it, what it's going to take to move it, what kind of opposition's out there, and find out, you know, what can we do. I'm sure there are things that we could put here in this spot that pay homage to all Americans, all citizens in Lowndes County, Columbus.
Well, at the moment, the Board of Supervisors does not intend to discuss the monument at their next meeting. However, that could change. Now, earlier this week, the University of Alabama took down memorials to Confederate soldiers, as well as plaques honoring students who served in the Confederate Army. Reporting in Columbus, Cash Matlock, WCBI News.
It's hot, it's steamy across our region right now. Temperatures still around 90 in Columbus and Tupelo, mid to upper 80s elsewhere. The heat index flirting with 100. 100 is what it feels like in West Point. Most of the showers this afternoon off to our southeast into Alabama. It's been very wet and stormy. There's another cluster south of Meridian. That's not going to affect us, but we do have a chance for some storms later tonight. There's a front back in Texas that will be coming our way. So as we get past midnight, we should see at least an opportunity for some showers or thunder showers. A lot of that will be fading away or weakening by the time it gets in here after 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. But there could be a few showers and storms around later tonight. Look at this low. Mid-70s, muggy all night, but the humidity lower starting tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about that in your full forecast coming up.
The city of Macon lifts its curfew. Aldermen recently approved the measure. City leaders first approved a curfew on April 7th in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. The Knoxville County town is still asking people to continue to social distance and wear a mask in public. This week, the Mississippi State Department of Health reported its largest single-day increase of COVID-19 cases. Those new cases brought the state's total to over 17,000. Our Bobby Martinez talks to a doctor and a sheriff about why folks should still be taking this virus seriously. He joins us live in the studio with what they had to say. Bobby?
Joey, as Mississippians slowly adapt to the state reopening and what will be the new norm, there is still no cure for the virus, and health experts say you should continue to follow guidelines to prevent the spread of COVID-19. A message to all Mississippians.
We have to respect the virus.
Dr. James Woodard of ALLEGRO Family Clinic says the virus still poses a threat.
We're all still vulnerable to get this, unless you have had it and recovered, or unless you have had a vaccine, which there isn't a vaccine available yet.
And with the increase of amount of people in social gatherings, Dr. Woodard says wearing a mask is crucial.
People are getting out and about and mixing and mingling, and that's where you're going to pick it up. You cough or sneeze, the droplets are in the air. I don't have a mask on, and then I inhale those droplets, then I can get the virus.
The Mississippi State Department of Health reports at least 134 positive cases, along with 4 deaths in Clay County, something Sheriff Eddie Scott says is still a cause for concern.
Well, right now, as everybody knows, the case numbers are still going up on a daily basis. I think yesterday was one of the highest days that we've had. So that in itself shows that it is a major problem to be dealt with. So we have got to continue to use common sense.
Scott says Clay County will remain under curfew until July 9th.
The curfew has worked fairly well. Most people understand. Again, there is a lot of essential travel. If it's essential travel after 10 o'clock, that's not an issue. But as far as the people going, having the block parties and the clubs and this kind of stuff, that is a major area where this stuff can be spread. You know, this has been told to us by the CDC. So our Board of Supervisors has decided to continue the curfew through July the 9th.
And for more ways you can learn how to prevent the first spread of COVID-19, you can visit the Mississippi Department of Health website.
Each year, Camp Rising Sun allows kids with cancer to have some normal events, go swimming, fishing, and camp out. This year, that's not possible, but the camp is finding a way to reach campers. Our Stephanie Poole explains.
Hey, good morning, Camp Rising Sun. Welcome to day 2.
Summer camp activities for Camp Rising Sun look a little bit different this year. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, directors decided to meet virtually to keep campers safe and healthy.
Does anybody have those out?
We're thankful to have the opportunity to be able to see them at least on the screen and interact. And
co-director KIZER says nearly 40 campers log in every day.
We tried to craft a camp that would follow our regular activities as much as we could, but clearly we can't have swimming and archery and those kind of things. So we tried to come up with some different ideas.
Nick and Ellen Taylor have attended Camp Rising Sun for 9 years. They say despite this year's changes, they're enjoying spending time with counselors and fellow campers.
We've been super engaged in having fun and like not keeping the energy and enthusiasm, and I've missed the people, and so it's been good to see them again.
The brother and sister are learning about art and making souvenirs.
We've never really done like anything like that before, or we've done stuff like that, but it's just like something we could do on here that we normally wouldn't do at normal camp.
To make sure each child is able to participate, counselors delivered supply boxes to each camper.
We've tried to keep our traditional activities such as arts and crafts. We're going to have a talent show, just like we always do. We're going to have a dance. They're going to be taught some line dances and do some things like that to make them more interactive, probably a little more interactive than we would at camp itself, because you can almost be one-on-one with some of them.
Reporting in Columbus, Stephanie Poole, WCBI News.
Now, directors do plan to resume in-person camp in June of next year.
Okolona city leaders are asking lawmakers in Jackson to pass a bill that would allow the town's electric company to offer broadband internet service to its customers. We'll have that story coming up on WCBI News.
Welcome back, everyone. An area town wants the legislature to clear the way for local electric companies to offer broadband internet service to all customers. Allie Martin has more on the process and what city leaders say is at stake.
Okolona Electric would like to be able to offer broadband internet service to its customers, but electric companies owned by municipalities can't do that unless lawmakers in Jackson step in.
I live in the county and I can't get internet service unless I get satellite.
Mattie Gates is a customer of Okolona Electric and says she would gladly sign up for a broadband service if it were offered. That's why city leaders have teamed up with lawmakers to get a bill passed that would allow the city-owned electric company to offer broadband service. The electric company serves more than 5,000 customers in a 4-county area. Okolona Mayor Sherman Carruthers says the need for reliable internet has become even more apparent in the wake of shutdowns over COVID-19.
Our schools and universities, telemedicine, all of those things are key components in 2020. And there's no reason for anyone to be disenfranchised at this point in 2020.
As economic liaison for the city of Okolona, Patsy Gregory has been working to try and get the legislation passed since last year, when lawmakers allowed electric cooperatives to offer broadband service. She says lawmakers know the need is dire.
Some of our industries are using hotspot phone in the windows to get internet service. It is hampering our economic development needs. And then also some of our Chickasaw County offices are in Van Vliet, Mississippi, and they do not have adequate internet service.
In the wake of COVID-19 and school shutdowns across the state, there's been an even bigger push to get Chromebooks or tablets into the hands of every public school student in Mississippi. But people also say without reliable internet service, that wouldn't make much of a difference. In Okolona, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
Mayor Carruthers says Senators Ben Suber and Chad McMahon have helped push the bill on the Senate side. It should go before the full Senate this week and is currently in a House committee. All right, Keith, kind of drying some things out today. Not too many showers around.
Not too many. It's still just downright
humid,
muggy, nasty. That will be
is.
changing, though. That will be changing, Joey, as we get into tomorrow afternoon. Clearing skies. Still a little bit of rain potential tonight, but great weather as we close out the work week and as we get into the weekend. The forecast is next.
Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
We've had some wet weather around here over the last 7 days here in the Deep South, and all of this, or let's just say a lot of it, due to Tropical Storm Cristobal. It started down in the Gulf of Mexico, swirl through Florida into the Florida Panhandle, into Louisiana, South Mississippi, and then it tracked down through our area over the last 24 hours. Some spots 3, 4, 5, 8 inches. Some spots in Florida 12 inches plus. Wet. Again, another wet system here in the deep south. That system still swirling up here across Wisconsin, if you can believe it. Iowa and Minnesota, so that has traveled a long way. But today we were in its wake, and we enjoyed some very warm and muggy conditions. That's our time lapse from downtown Columbus today. Some of those puffy cumulus clouds, a few showers out there. Not really a lot of moisture this afternoon. We did have some rain this morning. The heat index, the big story today, upper 90s to low 100s still at this hour. The moisture content in the air, very, very high. Dew point values mid to upper 70s here. Deep tropical moisture. A cold front will scour all of that out tomorrow afternoon, and those numbers fall, and it will just feel refreshing here by this time tomorrow with a west and northwest wind. Now, tonight and tomorrow morning, it's going to be muggy. Lows will be in the mid-70s tonight. A chance for rain after midnight into the first part of our Wednesday, but by midday, we'll start to clear things out. And we will still be warm, mid to upper 80s, especially across the southeastern areas, Columbus, parts of West Alabama, southeastern parts of our coverage area. Back to the northwest, Calhoun City, Oxford, a little bit cooler, Coffeyville, 81, 83 in Pontotoc. So things will be changing as a drier air comes on in tomorrow afternoon. We need it. So the comfort index will go down into this comfortable zone through the rest of the work week into the weekend. Now we will stay warm. It's summer here, upper 80s to around 90 in many spots for those days, but the humidity will be dropping. We talked about that rain chance for tonight after midnight. Yeah, here we go, 4 o'clock in the morning. There could be a band of gusty showers or thunder showers coming in from the Delta. Those will likely fall apart as they get into our area. So can't rule out some rain tonight. We don't envision any strong or severe weather locally. And then we start to clear things out by midday going into tomorrow afternoon and beyond. A lot of sunshine here. A lot of that sunshine because of high pressure, and the high pressure trend shaded in blue will just keep the weather fair through our region through the weekend into early next week, it would appear. Here's your AccuWeather 70 forecast. We are trending pretty good here for the next few days. Temperatures in the 80s. Pretty warm here. A little bit cooler. Thursday, 84 degrees. Look at those lows, upper 50s to low 60s. There's some good stuff coming our way as we go throughout the next few days. Joey?
All right, thanks, Keith. A former Crimson Tide receiver will join Mike Leach and the air raid offense. More from the transfer portal next in sports.
Further.
The transfer portal has been unkind to Mississippi State for the past month or so, but the Bulldogs able to pick up a big addition to the receiving corps thanks to the portal. Alabama wide receiver Tyrell Shavers officially joining Mississippi State. The grad transfer has 2 years of eligibility remaining. A consensus 4-star receiver coming out of high school. The 6'6" Shavers recorded 1 catch for 20 yards with Alabama and also recovered a punt for a touchdown in 2019. Before the college baseball season was cut short, Ole Miss was tied atop the best record in all of collegiate baseball, 16-1, longest win streak in the country and 1 shy of a program record. While the 2020 season will always be a what if, the Rebels skipper gets nationally recognized for the performance. Collegiate baseball naming Mike Bianco its National Coach of the Year. Bianco becoming the first Ole Miss head coach to receive the national honor. Bianco is Ole Miss baseball's all-time wins leader and the 3rd winningest coach in SEC baseball history. ICC soccer pair Luz Elena Acosta and Brittany Mathis signed with Belhaven University. The Tupelo native Acosta started 34 games in 2 years at ICC as a defender, and Pontotoc native Mathis scored 15 goals with 10 assists as a forward, both playing a part in ICC's historic 2019 campaign, setting the program record of 17 wins. NASCAR is set to allow some fans back to the racetrack for races at Homestead Miami Speedway and Talladega Superspeedway. This month, 1,000 Florida service members will attend the Cup Series race this upcoming Sunday. NASCAR will allow up to 5,000 guests to attend the Talladega race on June 21st. Fans will be screened before entering, required to wear face coverings, and mandated social distancing at 6 feet per person. That's it for sports. I'll last look at your forecast next.
Warm and steamy this evening. Still a chance for a little bit of rain late tonight into tomorrow morning. After that, the humidity lowers. We stay warm and sunny here going into the end of the work week, Joey. The weekend's looking pretty good. Summer-like weather's here.
59. We won't know what to do with that.
Pete, 75.
75 and 100% humidity.
Correct.
All right. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Have a good night.